When are we
Sure.
going to see text? Are you hearing anything? When do we see the bill?
We keep hearing that it is out there somewhere. I think a lot of us have said, we're not going to go through this thing where it was Obamacare and you have to vote for it and pass it to see what's in it. And we want to see what is there. I've said all along, I will not vote for anything that makes illegal immigration legal. This administration has tried to do that. All this immigration between the ports of entry is illegal immigration. I will not take a vote that will make that legal.
So you're not going to vote for it. Speaker Johnson says it's DOA in the House. Is there any point in the negotiators even finishing their work?
What we know is that President Biden has the authority. He could close this border today. He could do this and move forward with the laws that are already on the books. Do we need to strengthen asylum and end catch and release? Absolutely. But let's get that border closed. And the Border Patrol has been begging for that. When you've got 302,000 people that come across that border in a single month, when you have 30 terrorists that have presented at the border between the ports of entry since the first of the fiscal year, this is a problem. So let Border Patrol do their job, remain in Mexico back in place, put Title 42 back in place, and let's secure the southern border.
We're hearing optimism from the majority leader, Chuck Schumer. He talked about the prospects of a deal earlier today. Senator, let's listen to what he said, and we'll have you respond.
We're working with the Republican leadership to come to an agreement so we can get a text out there as soon as we can. There are still a few issues to be resolved.
I know you're not taking cues from Chuck Schumer, Senator Blackburn, but how about Mitch McConnell? He's been behind this. Has Mitch McConnell's office reached out for your support?
I have not had anybody say, will you support this, because there is no text. Also, I think it's important to note that the House passed H.R. 2 and sent it to the Senate over May 14th. We have had over 80 meetings of the Senate Judiciary Committee since May 14th. We have never taken up H.R. 2. So there is an immigration reform document that is before the Senate, that is legislation that people could work on, that people could amend. But now there is something being cooked up in secret and nobody knows what is in it, and we keep hearing that you're going to love it when you see it, but there is no text and we can't tell you anything.
Sounds like you and John Kennedy are getting the same phone calls here, Senator. I can't wait to see what's in this package. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of questions about if what happens to Ukraine if there is no deal on the border. They're separate issues, but they've been linked, of course, in this debate. Would you consider a standalone Ukraine funding bill if this border deal goes off a cliff?
Look, nobody wants Vladimir Putin to win in this war with Ukraine. There's nobody that wants to embolden Vladimir Putin, the Chinese Communist Party, Iran, North Korea, that axis of evil. Everyone wants to make certain that Israel also, like Ukraine, has what they need to defend themselves. But all of this time that we've been waiting around to see what has gotten cooked up, why weren't we having some transparency? Why couldn't we get accountability on the money that has already gone to Ukraine, the $113 billion? Why are we not being told what the timeline is for putting weapons over there in Ukraine? So there is a better way to run a chamber. It is called regular order, and let the committees do their work.
Regular order as we spend time with Senator Marsha Blackburn. An important hearing today you were a part of as the Judiciary Committee brought 5 high-tech CEOs, think Meta, TikTok, and others, Twitter now called X. Senator Lindsey Graham specifically called out Mark Zuckerberg from Meta in this instance. Let's hear what he said.
Social media companies, as they are currently designed and operate, are dangerous products. Mr. Zuckerberg, you and the companies before us, I know you don't mean it to be so, but you have blood on your hands. You have a product. You have a product that's killing people. These companies must be reined in, or the worst is yet to come.
That was quite a moment, Senator. I know that this is an issue that has been very close to your heart for some time, as you and the Democrat from Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal, pushed the Kids Online Safety Act. Should victims of child exploitation be allowed to sue companies like Meta?
And one of the things that has been perplexing to us is that there is no recourse for these victims or their families. And Section 230 provides some protections. That is why you're hearing Senator Graham and me and others say, let's not give this blanket protection. It's also why Senator Blumenthal and I have worked so hard on the Kids Online Safety Act to say it is your responsibility, social media, to design for safety, to design for keeping this duty of care for people that are on your site. And the fact that Zuckerberg would not give a clear answer when it came to sex trafficking and why he doesn't kick these people off, because it cannot possibly meet their community standards. And he would not answer that question when I asked him that.
Well, I'd love to ask you, this is, to our count now, the 8th time Mark Zuckerberg has been pulled to Washington to testify since 2018. How many more times, Senator, does he need to come to Washington, or hearings like this need to be had before something is done, before a bill is passed?
And it is his army of lobbyists and lawyers that keep fighting us when it comes to the REPORT Act that Senator Ossoff and I have done, the Earn It Act, which I helped author, when it comes to Kids Online Safety that Senator Blumenthal and I have done, Senator Durbin's CSAM bill. And they continue to fight it. He's probably sick of seeing us, and we're probably sick of listening to him. So the thing should be that he should come to the table and sit down with us. X should do the same. Snap should do the same. They should want to sit down with us, because on their platforms, kids are being driven toward eating disorders and information about suicide and drug dealers and pedophiles. And you know what? If in the physical world you had somebody who was exposing children to pornography and to these bad actors, or a liquor store that was selling alcohol to underage kids, or a market selling tobacco to underage kids, their doors would be padlocked. They would be walking out of there in handcuffs, and they would be held to account. Online, they are not held to account. This has got to stop.